So recently, this image has been going around the internet asking a very simple question. If Goku, Luffy, Naruto, and Ichigo all had the abilities of every single character in their respective series, who would win in a fight? When it comes to just their normal selves without any additional powers, Goku can easily beat the big three even if they teamed up against him. However, if they all gained all of these hacks abilities from their universes, would the scales now tip in the favor of the big three over Goku? So instead of treating this like a battle royale, we're going to treat this as a 1v3. Could the superpowered, overpowered, and mega hacksy versions of the big three protagonists be able to take down Goku, who also had all the abilities in his universe? Let's find out. If you do like this kind of stuff, make sure to like and subscribe to support the channel, but besides that, thank you so much for watching, and let's jump right in. Now, there's probably a million different ways to analyze this topic, so let's set out a couple of ground rules to make this video as interesting as possible. Number 1. Everyone knows the abilities they have and how to use them, but they do not know the capabilities of their opponents. Number 2, they're going to be willing to use their abilities to win in any way they can. So nothing like, oh, Goku wouldn't use the candy beam because it might kill his opponent, or something like that. Number 3, we're only considering things in the main canon continuities, which means no powers from non-canon movies or other similar additional content. Number 4, for this video we will generally be considering everything under the equal stats interpretation, or Goku would still just overpower and speed blitz the three of them before they can even use their new hacks, at least for the most part. Number 5, we're also going to assume, like their own abilities, they won't just be able to use every single one of their powers simultaneously, unless the ability can be used in tandem with other things, or they have ways of activating multiple abilities at once. Finally, just understand that I'm talking about the entirety of 4 massive franchises, so if I forget an ability that you think is particularly important for one side winning, don't get mad and please just mention it down below. I might do a follow-up. Now, the most important place to start is to first understand that most of the newly gained abilities are ultimately not going to make a difference when it comes to winning a match, often because they have access to just more effective or outright upgrades to certain powers. For example, while it's nice that Naruto now knows every single jutsu in the Naruto universe, for the most part, they're just going to be weaker versions of stuff he already has. While having access to something like a fireball jutsu or Chidori is cool, why would he ever use them over the objectively superior jutsu like lava release, Rasen Shuriken, or just a giant Rasengan? This doesn't just apply to Naruto, of course. 90% of key techniques are just attacks Goku can already do better versions of, or provide no additional benefit in the grand scheme of things. What advantage is there to using a Gallic Gun or Special Beam Cannon when a classic Kamehameha or Destructo Disc are going to more efficiently achieve the exact same thing? Luffy might actually have it the worst, just because of how many Devil Fu abilities are just terrible and provide little to no combat advantage, or are essentially the same thing. Luffy has no reason to use Pell's Hawk Devil Fruit when he could just use Marco's Phoenix Fruit. Despite the wide range of Bankai, Ichigo isn't without a few useless abilities either. Like, why would he ever need to use Soi Fon's giant rocket launcher over just shooting an attack from his blades or firing a arrow? Now that we can focus on the important stuff, as Goku is somewhat of an underdog here given how he has a numbers disadvantage, let's cover what would be required to simply take Goku down by going over his sheer defensive capabilities. Automatically, there are a bunch of major physiological abilities that would be granted to Goku that would make him immensely difficult to kill by essentially anyone. Firstly, android physiology. Given to him by androids 17 and 18, Goku would have an infinite energy generator, and thus be able to fight at full power and never get tired. Meaning, if the other three can't kill him, he will simply outlast them. Next is the natural physiologies of Majin Buu, which makes him essentially immortal. Buu's regeneration is even better than Cell's, which could regenerate from a single cell, as well as come back from a literal cloud of smoke. Furthermore, unlike anyone who came before, regeneration doesn't actually take away any of Buu's power, meaning as long as the attack doesn't utterly annihilate Goku, he's coming back at full power essentially instantly. However, this is made even more sturdy with the next one, Zamasu and Merge Zamasu. This gives Goku verbatim immortality and 2 ways to come back from having his body destroyed. Pull an anime Merge Zamasu and just fuse with the universe, as well as multiple timelines to ensure his survival, or just split into an endless amount of clones that are all equal to his power, like in the manga. He already had this ability anyways with Cell's multiform technique, but I thought I'd mention it here. Okay, but what if we somehow changed Goku's body and removed these abilities? With Vegeto's unique property to keep his abilities and power when he's turned into candy, this likely wouldn't work either. Okay, so if you can't change his body, what about his mind? Once again, due to having angel level Ultra Instinct, Goku would be able to fight without his mind at all, so no level of mind hacks is going to effectively put a stop to his ability to fight. There's also just the basic resistances granted to him by being a very strong character in Dragon Ball, which gives you resistance to matter destruction and outright existence erasure of the body and spirit through taking both regular ki blasts, but more importantly, Hakais from Gods of Destruction. This already pretty much invalidates 90% of the toolkits of the big three when it comes to win conditions against Goku. Illusions like Shinji's Bankai, Aizen's Suigetsu, or any genjutsu from the Infinite Tsukiyomi to Izanami wouldn't impact Goku's ability to fight in the slightest, even if his perceptions are no longer helping him. Even if it could work on someone with Goku's willpower, Conqueror's Haki knocking Goku unconscious would still not deactivate Ultra Instinct. And given how this Goku can function without a brain, it might be impossible to knock him unconscious anyways. Due to being both literally and effectively immortal, not needing organs, and being able to change his form, Goku is immune to a wide array of potential one-shot abilities granted by many Devil Fruit abilities and various powers from Bleach. The Hobby Hobby no Mi's Toy Transformation, Room's Splitting ability, Askin's Toxicity Manipulation, or Baragon's Aging all ultimately wouldn't impact Goku's ability to fight in the slightest. There's also the issue that of the many really strong tools and win conditions that the big three have access to, Goku probably has an identical ability for, plus usually a way to personally counter them. For example, Naruto and Ichigo have access to sealing abilities, so does Goku. Both Naruto and Ichigo can create clones of equal power, so can Goku. Ichigo can absorb and copy abilities, so can Goku. In short, only the most fundamental, high-powered abilities that change reality on a truly advanced level are going to be able to land serious, meaningful hits against Goku. And in that aspect, the first character to really fall short of this level is going to be Luffy. With the level of power and hacks potency that we're dealing with here, Luffy and really One Piece in general can't keep up with what Bleach and Naruto have respectively. Even something as crazy as Gear 5's gag abilities really don't matter when, through a Raleigh, Goku would have stronger gag abilities than anything Luffy has ever shown. That's right, every ability that I've mentioned so far about Goku is also bolstered by the fact that he doesn't exactly follow formal logic or narrative reasoning through Raleigh's powers. So, unfortunately, this 1v3 becomes more like a 1v2. So, what truly relevant abilities do Ichigo and Naruto get that can maybe help them beat Goku? Aside from the powers I've already alluded to, Ichigo has access to what I'd say are 4 very broken powers. Opponent copying from Lloyd, Future Sight and manipulation from Yuha, past manipulation from Tsukishima, and name manipulation from Ichibei. However, for the most part, Goku has counters for a good deal of these things due to some abilities I've already talked about. Firstly, if Ichigo chooses to turn into Goku to beat him, he'll run into the unfortunate fact that Goku can just grow stronger naturally, which is exactly how this ability was beaten by Kenpachi, so this likely wouldn't work. Keep in mind that Goku currently has the potential of Gohan, Broly, Kefla, Goku, and a million other characters. It is probably constantly growing stronger every second. Next is both the manipulation of and ability to see the past and present events given by the Almighty and the Book of the End, respectively. Now, from a glance, Goku doesn't seem to have a counter to things literally happening in his past and present, if he didn't have the abilities of Infinite Zamasu. If you remember, Infinite Zamasu was able to exist simultaneously in 2 different timelines that existed at totally different points along history. If Ichigo tries to change past events or choose a favorable future timeline, Goku could literally already be there if that makes sense, and just stop him. Finally, Ichibe's name manipulation, which could technically work as a way to dampen Goku's powers by making him as weak as an ant or something, though he would need to actually land a hit on Goku for that to happen. And I haven't mentioned this, but Goku can just become intangible if he wants to, using Hit's abilities, on top of Mastered Ultra Instinct, which again invalidates so many abilities and hacks that require actual physical contact to work. Now, there's also Naruto, who honestly would have a far simpler and potentially far stronger ability than anything I've mentioned so far, and that's Omnipotence. This ability, which is almost just like editing the code of reality, which is how it's been described so far, can essentially just make Naruto's desires come true. While we haven't seen the true extent or potential of this ability, it's very possible that if he desired to win, reality might just warp so that Goku gives up or no longer wants to fight, or that he doesn't have his abilities anymore. To be honest, Goku doesn't quite have a lot to directly counter this happening, aside from potentially existing in other timelines and thus being outside the effective range of omnipotence. So, does that mean it's over for Goku? Not quite. There's probably 3 notable abilities that I've yet to mention that really tilt the battle in Goku's favor: Time Stop, Wishes, and True Erasure. Firstly, Goku has 2 different ways to stop time, either by using Hit's abilities or just holding his breath like Goldo, which means he could maybe even do both at the same time to have somehow 2 layers of stop time. Now, none of the big 3 have any counter to time-stopping abilities, which essentially is an instantaneous win condition for Goku. The moment that happens, Goku is free to use any of his own one-shot conditions, while the big 3 don't even know what's happening. What are the one-shot conditions? Well, the most potent must be the wishing ability of Super Shenron, or any of the dragons for that matter, or Zeno's existence erasure. Just like Omnipotence, with just a thought, Goku can warp reality to make himself stronger, manipulate his opponents, or outright just erase them from existence, something the 3 really can't do anything about. So, if you want my honest answer, when making all of these characters essentially as hacksy and as powerful as reasonably possible, they still can't beat Goku. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I tried not to make this video just me listing off hacks abilities, and tried to keep it relatively focused. So if I did miss something, let me know what I missed, or how I was wrong in the comments down below. See ya!